Is your
You didn't.
Dover International Speedway is the host to this evening's ITSR Twisted B Car Series race number 9 and the end of the opening segment in this 2014 campaign with the Got Crabs 140. Interesting name there. Hello everybody, my name is Evan Pasoko. Thanks for tuning in once again. Michael Keaton joining me up in the broadcast booth. The Monster Mile this evening is going to play host of the final race where we determine our segment 1 champion. And right now, it's Stefan Marinak in the driver's seat up at the top with 1 win, sitting on 7 top 5s in 8 races. Matt Lacrosse is the challenger, 12 points back in second. Needs a strong night and a couple mistakes from Marinak in order to get it done. Brian Harvey sits pretty secure in the number 3 spot. He's 30 points back, 4th in the standings. Scott Simley, 47 back, and rounding out the top 5 is John Wilco, 60 points back from Stefan Marinak up at the top of the pile.
6th spot, currently in the point standings, C.J. Lavere. Douglas Wyatt is 7th. Frank Coons, 8th. Stephen Herring is 95 points back, although just 3 back from Frank Coons here. He's in 9th. L.D. Sarabia rounding out the top 5 in 10th. So a couple of these guys back here towards the backs, they could change spots and points, but tonight you said it, Evan. Marinak and Lacrosse, that's where the battle's going to be at. 12-point differential. There are bonus points awarded. So far, Stefan Marinak looks pretty good here at Dover, looking at practice times.
There are only 12 drivers so far to put down a qualifying time. He did have 18 in total in practice, so he's going to need a good night. Last week's result was Charlotte with 125 laps. Matt Lacrosse started outside the top 10, able to advance his 21 to the number spot, take home the win. Bobby Terrell comes home second. Marinak walking away with a 3rd place finish. Jose Gonzalez gets a 4th. And Ben Burnett, after starting on the outside row, number 2, walks away with 5th.
Nathan Little would finish 6th. L.D. Sarabia would finish 7th. Stephen Herring, 8th. Brian Harvey was the first driver 2 laps down in 9th spot. And John Wilco would put his 62 machine in 10th spot after starting 16th. Top 10 there of Charlotte.
And as time continues to wind down in the qualifying session right now, on the provisional poll is Matt Lacrosse, but still a lot of drivers to put out there and put their times down. We're going to get set for this evening's action as we now take it down trackside for the opening ceremonies.
New shoes, and I don't know where I'm going to. Silk suit, black tie, and I don't need a reason why. They come around just as fast as they can. But every girl's crazy about a sharp-dressed man. Watch, diamond ring. Oh, I ain't missing on a single thing. Conflicts, stick pin. Ask about them more than do you in. They come around just as fast as they can.
Hey, look here, beavers. You better hide your wives, hide your husband, and look here, both of you hide your kids, because we're coming.
Every girl's crazy about a sharp-dressed man. looking sharp, looking for love. They come running just as fast as they can. Every girl's crazy about a sharp dress hand. Black tie, and I don't need a reason why. They come running just as fast as they can. Every girl's crazy about it.
The field has been set and we're ready to take you down your starting grid of 18 cars for this evening's affair at the Dover International Raceway, race number 9, and ending out this first segment in this 2014 campaign. And on the pole is Matt Lacrosse at a number 21 machine with a time of 24.179, the only driver to break that 24.2 second barrier and be able to get the number 1 spot. Outside on row number 1, going to belong to Bobby Terrell in the number 14 machine. He's going to be starting alongside him in second. Ben Burnett in the number 37 is going to be on the inside of row number 2 in the number 37 again, once again starting in third. John Higman Jr. alongside him in the 60, going to be sitting in position number 4. Stefan Marinak inside row 3 in the 24 car in the number 5 position, and CJ LeVere starting 6th in his number 4 machine. Brian Harvey going to roll the 67 off in position number 7. LD Sarabia in the 11 going to be starting in position 8. Glenn Campbell piloting the 44 this evening inside on row number 5 in the number 9 spot alongside Jay Horton, who's going to round out the top 10. Scott Simley in the 68 sitting in position number 11. Alongside him is Jay Randall Watkins in the 77 starting in 12th. Edson Lima Jr., the 19 machine, going to be starting in number 13th position. The last car to put down the time, but a qualifying session. Luis Rodriguez in the 47, going to be starting in 14th. First car to not take a time, and everybody on back not posting a qualifying time, including Douglas Wyatt, who's going to be starting 15th. 16th belonging to John Wilco. Stephen Herring going to be starting 17th, and then rounding out the field going to be Frank Coons at the back of the pack in the 48 as the field begins to roll now in turns 1 and 2, lights off the pace car. And we're just a few moments away from getting this 140 lap affair, and that's 140 miles at this 1 mile racetrack underway here to close off this opening segment of the 2014 ITSR Twisted B-Car Series, as always live on MW Productions.
Yeah, I can't wait to see these guys get after it here. Sometimes the finale races give us some of the best racing. Tuesday night, the finale at Charlotte gave way for some good racing, and I expect no less tonight here at Dover. And like you said, 140 laps, 140 miles, the 1 mile monster mile racetrack getting ready to go green here, Evan.
Getting set to get this thing underway here at the Monster Mile for this race. Pace car's gone. Matt Lacrosse has set sail, and we are green flag racing as the 21 sets off to about a 4-car length lead. The battle is for second. The 37 of Ben Burnett to the inside and around the 14 of Bobby Terrell. As now the top 5 now single file out with the 21 leading the charge, but the 37 has closed it into a car length into turns 3 and 4.
And if you're Matt Lacrosse coming into tonight's race, you got to be thinking, I've got to do everything right. So far, he's starting off good. He's in first. He got that number 1 spot in qualifying. He's just got to keep it up there. But Ben Burnett looking pretty good and stout for himself. Stefan Marinak back in 4th spot, Evan. And this is kind of how it was last night. A couple of drivers, about 3 drivers had a chance to win the championship last night. CJ did walk away with it, or Tuesday night, excuse me. And tonight, there's 2 guys vying for the championship again. We got Stefan Marinak and the man out front, Matt Lacrosse.
And Lacrosse can win this race and still lose the championship by 11 points. And that is if Stefan Marinak, in theory, would come second and all the bonus points even out. So he just knows that the 21's got to do what he's got to do and everything that he can, and that is win this race and hope that fate takes care of the 24 car. Again, 18 cars on the lead lap. It's 12 points, so about 12 positions on the racetrack. That would need to be the separation between Marinak in a 14 muscle milk machine and Matt Lacrosse up at front. But Lacrosse, maybe not for too long. 37 to the inside. Ben Burnett in turns 3 and 4 to the bottom and clears him at a turn number 4. The 14 of Terrell signals him down in line in front of him. And so these guys now single file up. The 21 of Lacrosse drops to second in front of Terrell. And of course, Stefan Marinak now slides up the hill to 24. Again, Matt Lacrosse's competition for that championship of the 24 Chevrolet has now dropped back to 5th after a very quick clean pass by John Higman Jr. in 1 and 2 is going to move that 60 up to the number 4 spot.
So far, single file racing, Evan, throughout the field here. There was a nice little battle here between the 5 car of Douglas Wyatt back in 15th and the 47 machine of Luis Rodriguez. How about this? Hippie Doug sporting what looks like a new paint scheme. The Sunoco race fuel machine, the Ford Mustang, as he goes up underneath Luis Rodriguez right there. And Luis sporting possibly a beverage medallia light paint scheme tonight.
That 5 of Wyatt just smacked the wall there at a turn number 2 that you were talking about. His number 5 Ford, the Sunoco race fuel machine on that car for this evening's race. Very bright team as well. This field, if you look up at the front position 2nd through 10th, not really close in the matter of side-by-side, but a big single freight train, is that big group of cars. Ben Burnett has checked out the most. He's in the number 1 spot. He has 4/10 on Matt Lacrosse, but pretty much from there on back, maybe 1-2 car lengths at the most, separating the majority of these guys, really forcing you that you can't make an error, or you're going to really get trapped to the high side and get run over by the rest of this field. A little bit of a challenge for 3rd, as John Hickman Jr. in the 60 is applying the pressure to the back bumper of the 14 of Terrell, this time down the back and as they head into turn number 3.
Again, still single file, Evan. A little bump draft by the 14 car of Bobby Terrell to Matt Lacrosse. And how about this? New leader Ben Burnett, as all that was taking place, we've had a lead change, and it happened really quick. And meanwhile, Stefan Marinac slips back 1 position to John Hickman Jr. But again, like you mentioned, Matt Lacrosse could still win this race and still lose the championship. Matt Lacrosse would have to finish, depending on the bonus point situation, Matt Lacrosse would have to win, and that would put Stefan Marinac having to finish 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and obviously on the back to lose his championship. So bonus points could play a big role. Matt Lacrosse may get one for leading the pole. He may get one for leading a lap, and obviously leading the most laps, he can sneak some more bonus points, and all these bonus points can add up.
The only problem for him is it appears that Ben Burnett is the fastest car on a racetrack, running about 2/100th quicker every lap, and has extended the lead to over 1/2 of a second. Actually, it sits at 0.58 the last time. By this time, scoring going to update, it's going to be 0.666 seconds. So 2/3 of a second for Ben Burnett over Matt Lacrosse as they have to work around the lap traffic. 62 is pretty banged up. That's John Wilco already 3 laps down. Not sure if he got into a little bit of a scrum. We know that Luis Rodriguez is on pit road with damage as well. He's 1 lap down, so not sure if those 2 guys came together or if those were in separate incidents. And the 62 just lost it at a turn 2 by himself on lap 2, which gave him the damage that he has. So John Wilco, for all intended purposes, out of this race as he sits 18th, 4 laps down, well off pace.
Luis Rodriguez, Evan, another driver, falling off pace early on here at Dover. He got into the inside wall coming off of 2, trying to pass Douglas Wyatt back for position 15, and got into the inside wall and got pretty severe damage. So he's down on pit road getting that car worked on, the 47 machine. And not a good way to start off the night here at Dover. And plus, it's the finale ending race, so you want to end today's race on a high note and a good note going in for the second segment, second season in this ITSR Twisted B Cup Series, or B Car Series, right?
It continues to extend that gap at the front of the field, but 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and I guess you can throw Marinac in that mix as well. These guys pretty close together, about a car length separating them. Nobody's really went to make a move quite yet, but they are there, and again forcing the fact that if you make a mistake you would be done. Luis Rodriguez is on pit road. He is now 4 laps down, as John Wilco is also. Wilco has been 4 laps down for a couple of laps as he's been out there going a lot slower than the cars at full speed. Rodriguez was only 1 lap down, but has since sat in pit road, and that is now balanced out. Now Rodriguez loses 5 laps, so effectively dropping him to the last spot again, and that's what led me to believe that maybe they got into a little bit of contact with each other because they were both torn up, and they both seemed to go off the lead lap at the same time. But that was not the case. 2 separate incidents taking those cars out of competition for a win, and that's not really what Matt Lacrosse wants to see, because that only leaves 16 guys on the lead lap. And at point spread, he needs a good night from everybody else if they're going to help him out try to get this championship and this first segment points win for Marinac.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And the more drivers that fall off pace here and exit the race, the less chance that gap starts to narrow. You're exactly right. Good point. Matt doing what he needs to do. I mean, he got the pole. He's in second. Ben Burnett is fast tonight, Evan. I'm telling you, that 37 car looks quick. Now, in practice, he was 6th quickest, and he qualified 3rd quickest tonight. But at Dover currently, he's 1st, and he blew by the 21 machine after the race started to get going, and he hasn't looked back since.
This race is taking a pretty quick pace to it, as about 11 laps, or rather 11 minutes have been put in on about 21 laps of racing so far in this race. And again, 140 laps is the scheduled distance. Drop that down to 119 to go. Still a long way from home, but nonetheless digging into this substantially. And with this long green flag run, that's what you tend to get. I know the drivers like the green flag runs, especially if you have a long run car. Per se, you're really good at managing the tire wear, not overusing your equipment, and being very consistent, because then you see the fuel strategy come into this. And we've seen strategies in the past in races where people try, 48 spinning right in front of our leaders in 3 and 4, caution, gonna fly. I jinxed it, as it is Frank Coons in the 48. He was sideways right in front of our race leader as he went into turns 3 and 4, got sideways, and was about half a car length away from spinning Matt Lacrosse as the 48 was sideways, and he did make contact with Bobby Terrell. Terrell does get some damage as the 48 of Coons with a near self-spin out of the corner. And the 14 picks up some right rear damage. Burnett sneaks by, Lacrosse sneaks by, and his counterpart in the championship battle, the 24 of Merrimack, sneaks by as well. So they live to move on, but another car can lose a lap, and not what Matt Lacrosse wants. But we're coming down pit road. Let's see what happens here. A little bit of contact as the 60 of Higman gets into the 14 of Bobby Terrell on pit road entrance. They slow it down to the pit road speed of 35 miles an hour. Painfully slow for these guys, but they're going to come in for some yellow stops. The 37 is the one that leads them down as they now hit towards the stalls. And let's see if Ben Burnett's going to lead them off as well.
I say too, Evan, coming down pit road right here, these guys got to take 4 tires. I mean, you might see maybe one towards the back take right sides only, but the way that we've been racing green, you got to take right. You got to take all 4.
4 tires going to go up on the 37, the 14, and the 21 old cars up in the front. Don't see anybody flying past them, but it is the 21 of Lacrosse, because he has that number 1 pit stall, and only because of that, because the other guys were down. The 14 and the 37 were off the jack well before him. But it is that last, the number 1 pit stall for getting on pole position, that is the big winner, and allows Matt Lacrosse to leave pit road first. Another car sneaking out in front of Ben Burnett, who led us down pit road, is the 14, of Bobby Terrell. Again, Terrell's right sides went up almost a second and a half after the 37 of Burnett. So not sure if Burnett stayed in a little bit longer for an adjustment or a little bit of damage repair, but he does come in first, exit 3rd, so he will be on the inside of row number 2, which may actually give him an advantage over the 14 of Bobby Terrell, depending on if he can get that better restart. Typically, the guy in 3rd gets a better jump than the guy outside of our leader starting in the 2nd spot outside on row number 1, but we'll have to see how that plays out. But nonetheless, Matt Lacrosse doing what he needs to do. He sits in the number 1 position over Stefan Marinak, still hanging tough in the number 5 spot, not letting that 21 lose him in his rear view mirror, and keeping this championship battle tight, as it would sit somewhere in the range, if you include Matt Lacrosse's lead lap, at about 6 points or so, separating those two as they run right now on the racetrack.
You think old Matt's got his crew chief or somebody down running on pit roads, throwing up the cash sign, showing the money sign to any certain people here tonight?
I mean, it wouldn't hurt the 21 team if the 24 were to get caught up in something.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know.
Who knows? Give him some iRacing credit on the side.
Yeah.
And the 24 did a good job of avoiding that incident. I know the 48 clipped Terrell, and Terrell got damage. It appears to be fixed, so it looks like he used his 1 reset. The right side is instantly fixed, and he advanced the position on pit road. So it didn't look like he had to sit in there. It looks like he may have gotten a quick fix on the 14 machine. He got damage, and 21 was pretty clear. The 24 of Marinak went to the apron to avoid it, did a successful job, and that's why, again, the top two in the championship still in this fight as the lights go off on the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car, getting ready for a restart. It will be lap 27 unless we get a delayed yellow, but the light is off, so we're set to go green on lap 27, 140 at the Dover International Speedway. This evening's race, the 9th one on this 2014 campaign. The first segment coming to a close here this evening with the Got Crabs 140.
Itchy.
Now, whenever I think of that, I'm thinking of New Hampshire because of the lobster.
You know what I think?
That's just my immediate.
When I hear Got Crabs, you know what I think?
Well, I want to know what you think.
Itchy, itchy, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, Lord. Alrighty. Back to the racing.
That's for Michael Woolley.
Alright. Now he's going to come over. He whispers, trying to argue a defense case for himself. Pace car is down on pit road. We're going green. Matt Lacrosse, the control car, waits a little bit longer than normal, goes down at only 44 miles an hour, gets on the gas. Green flag flies to 37. Nearly spins the route with the tire spin and now tries to hang on to the inside of the 14 of Terrell, who restarted second. He's able to do so, pulls door to door with him. 14 sliding back on the high side. Can the 37 clear him? Yes, he does. And a 14 is able to sneak in line as well. So position swap for second and third. The 37 moves up one. The 14 drops back as we anticipated after the restart on the outside of row one, side by side with the 68 of Simley and a 44 of Glenn Campbell down the front.
Yeah, that red and white car looking good here at Dover. Glenn Campbell to the bottom of the 44, Scott Simley to the high side, and the Mustang coming off of turn 2 where it gets real tight. And Simley and the 44 of Campbell will still race side by side, and this is the battle for the 7th spot. So Scott Simley still hanging out on the outside. Just makes Dover look like a fun track to drive.
He's able to hang on to challenges for third, but he's going to have to hold off on it. That's John Higman Jr. Took a look to the inside of Bobby Terrell as they go off of turn number 2. He made that going into 1, unable to do so, and pulls back in line. And now he may have to worry about CJ LeVere in the 4 car, who sits in position number 5. But again, what we've seen the last few weeks is loose race cars coming off the corner as these guys still try to adjust to a very slick new tire model. Not really new at this point, but still trying to adjust to it, which makes corner exit that much more treacherous in this thing, and that's especially where it gets tight off too. You don't have a lot of room. The battle is heating up for first. The 21 of Matt Lacrosse has lost the spot, trying to get back to the 37 of Burnett there off of turn number 2, and was unable to do so. And the 37 of Ben Burnett, like he did last time, gets around the 21 and sets his eyes on set and sail as Matt Lacrosse drops back to 2nd. Marinac drops back to 4th, or rather 6th, sorry, after being in 5th.
Yeah, now he's got some company, the 44 Glenn Campbell and Scott Simley. And the 68 machine looking up underneath Marinac, so Marinac now falls to 7th. Now put Marinac back to 8th. And here comes Douglas White in the 9th spot car. Coming up through turns 1 and 2 here. He's about 3 or 4 car lengths behind Marinac, so Marinac going backwards in a hurry here. But now he'll look back up under
Whoa, the 68, every which way but straight. Right in front of Marinac, had a handful, and that was Scott Simley. Simley able to hang on, but Marinac is able to sneak back up into 7th, and then Douglas Wyatt tries to knock the wall down in turn 3. That car just goes straight up the racetrack, was able to keep it off. Maybe he scraped a little bit of paint off the right side of his number 5 Sunoco Racefield Ford Mustang, but nonetheless, Stephen Marinac able to recover for the most part and sits 7th right now, and Matt Lacrosse back to 5th. As he slides back in this big battle that's side by side for 2nd. The 60 of Higman Jr. to the bottom and around the 14 machine of Terrell, which opens the door for the 4 to go to the bottom on the inside of Terrell is now CJ LeVere. LeVere's clear. Now Matt Lacrosse wants to go to the inside, and he's going to try to clear the 14. So Lacrosse goes from 2nd to 5th. And then Bobby Terrell, who is sitting 2nd, is dropped back now to 5th as well. As the 21 completes the pass in the 3, the 44 throws it in, nearly gets to the left rear, as Glenn Campbell wants one more spot as well.
Man, Glenn Campbell, a man on a mission, looking for the 5th spot over the Muscle Milk Chevy of Bobby Terrell. Couldn't quite find the room as Marinac runs just about 2 car lengths off the tail end of Campbell going off into turns 3 here. Still single file racing, Evan, And championship on the line tonight. Once again, Stefan Marinac leading the charge. 12 up on Matt Lacrosse. Matt trying to do everything he can, but currently he's in 4th spot, so he's gained that 1 spot back up, but he's going to have to finish first to have really a good shot at winning this thing.
It seems like whenever Marinac drops back, Lacrosse drops back. Lacrosse was in 1st when Marinac was in 5th. And then when Matt dropped back to 2nd, Stefan dropped back to 6th. And then Marinac went all the way back to what would be 8th at one point. But then Lacrosse, with a real bad section there with a lot of traffic behind him, dropped back to 5th, has since recovered to 4th, as well as Marinac has recovered 1 spot to 7th. So almost tracing each other's pattern here on the racetrack right now. Ben Burnett, however, still seems to be the fastest car on the racetrack.
10th spot battle shaping up. Evan, look at this. A 3-way battle, nearly 3 wide, going off into turns number 1 and 2. 83 Hurricane Chevy. Jay Horton leading the charge with LD Sarabia. They'll both take over Jay Randall Watkins' spot. As now LD looks to the bottom surface of the racetrack but can't quite find the room as the Miller Lite Ford of Randall Watkins tries to gain some momentum. Using that draft, that's the battle for the top 10 spot here at Dover.
Those guys were talking about the 77 near them. Jay Randall Watkins potentially having some electrical problems on his machine, that the 11 and the 83 were trying to get around him without incident on, and very close together. Those 3 are now, again, half a car length maybe separating all those 3. 11 going to go to the inside. Sarabia wants it from Horton. The battle for the top 10 position. 83 kind of stays a little bit lower on corner entry, tries to pinch the 11 down. 11 has room, but it's so loose, unable to hang it in there. And now the 77 going to try to come up and challenge him on the outside. Not going to work too well. Jay Randall Watkins gets a nose out there, but inside is the way to go, and the 77 gets way out of the groove.
Man, now with that 11, West LD Sarabia, buddy. Whew.
The 5 machine again into the wall in turn 3, but the 2nd or 3rd time that we've seen him do it. Having a little bit of trouble with turn 3, and the 5 has now allowed the 98 of Stephen Herring around him. That is the 5 of Hippie Douglas Wyatt, who has been having a couple of handling issues. Qualified 15th, currently sits 13th, but is under attack. Position. No, he knocks the wall down nearly at turn number 4, opens up the door for the 19 of Edson Lima Jr. to the bottom and past. So something not right with that 5 on corner entry and corner exit for that matter, as we saw that time at a 4.
You know why they call this track the Monster Mile, Evan?
Because it eats up race cars?
Very close. That turn 4 there, coming out of turn 4. If you notice that wall, even coming out of 2, that wall will it'll just turn into a monster and it'll reach out and grab you. And that's what we've seen Douglas Wyatt. The monster is eating that 5 car alive tonight.
That's a technical term, correct?
Yes, very technical.
Well, now it was the 19 turn. Have some problems. Edison Lima Jr. catches the wall and allows the 5 of Douglas Wyatt to go back around him. How about John Hickman Jr. coming out of nowhere? 3rd fastest in practice, qualified 4th. So we know he's got a strong car, but really didn't make any exclamation points on it. And he has closed into Ben Burnett's lead. That was about half a second. It's about a 10th. This time at a turn number 2, the 60 closes it into 2 car lengths down the back straightaway, trying to battle for the number 1 spot. That 60, Emmy Dolphin's machine wants to go to the point.
Yeah, he sure does, and he's there. He's snuck up under behind him in a heartbeat. I didn't know that John Hickman Jr. Was as close as he was. Look at him, Evan. He's coming. He may look up underneath him, and he will. Coming into turn 3, the Miami Dolphin Chevy of Hickman Jr. looks for the lead for the first time tonight at Dover. He'll have it.
And no challenge from Burnett. Burnett's going to drop back as a car length separating them at a 4. New leader, the 60 of John Hickman Jr. to the point after the 37 looks strong like he did the last run at the opening at this run as well. And has now been chased down and passed. And CJ LaVere coming into the mix as well after starting back in 6th. CJ currently sits in the number 3 spot, sitting in 6th in the championship standings, but has still not to get a win that has at least eluded him so far in this 2014 campaign here on the Thursday night side of things, trying to get a win. He's now up to third, so it seems like Ben Burnett was in a class of his own, and maybe he used up his equipment because the field's really starting to reel him in now. A whole bunch of them starting to close in. LaVere with Matt Lacrosse not too far behind as well. And then it's a little bit of a gap from 4th to 5th where Bobby Terrell sits in 5th, about 1.3 back from John Higman Jr., who's the leader, and Ben Burnett's holding up the field behind him.
Yeah, look at Matt Lacrosse sneak his way back up there. Now he'll try to look to gain some spots here as he's starting to run some really nice lap times, 24.4s, currently the fastest man on the racetrack. Matt Lacrosse looking to regain 3rd and 2nd as CJ looks up underneath.
Oh, 3 wide. Woo! The 21 tried to go low just as the Ford of LaVere went low on Ben Burnett, and Lacrosse checks up and thinks better of it. The 4 makes the pass at a 2, and now the 21 gets a nose in there on the 37 of Ben Burnett, who now sits 3rd. Nose starting to slip, but he still has it just barely into the corner, and now we'll pass the 37 with these before they get to the middle of the corner. Look at the freight train. Here comes the 14 of Terrell, the 44 behind him of Glenn Campbell, going to go for the pass as well. And I can guarantee you that 24 of Marinac, yes, to the bottom as well. 37 of Ben Burnett, going to drop all the way back to 7 once it's all said and done after getting trapped on the outside lane. And that big single file line of cars is able to get on by him and take those positions. And now LaVere is now up to the number 2 spot. Can he chase down Higman Jr., who has been able to establish a 2nd lead as those guys battled for 2nd behind him.
Lap traffic just up ahead. John Wilco coming off of corner 2. Going to stay to the outside on the backstretch. They'll have to go down low. CJ gets by safely, and Matt Lacrosse nearly gets into the back of Wilco as he'll stay high. And this will ruin Marinac's run off the corner, but he'll be fine.
Matt Lacrosse to the bottom of CJ LaVere, trying to go back up to the top spot, and first task is to get the 2nd before he can work on the number 1 spot as he tries to get around him. Now a big checkup behind them as Lacrosse is able to make, or not able to make the pass rather, as the 4 of LaVere has big problems. And everybody's slow. Oh, 1 car real slow on the bottom of the apron there at turn number 4. No caution. It is the 19 of Edison Lima Jr., who was the lap machine. He got hit as he was braking in the middle of the racetrack. Huge damage now for John Higman Jr., who was leading this race with a wicked fast machine, has now dropped back to around about the 6th spot or so, and his race is done. And that's not the first time in these last few weeks we've seen a lap car take out a leader.
Yeah, that's just a tough break there. John Higman Jr. leading the race, and he just plows having to pit here. He's coming down pit road.
The 5 going to join him as well. No, Douglas Wyatt misses pit road. Couldn't slow her down in time. Went to the apron, had too much speed, and decided to blend back over the racetrack. That's the only logical explanation I can come up with that, unless he wanted to give the rest of the field about 6 free positions on a racetrack. However, he may have been getting out of the way and saw what just happened with our race leaders, because he has just lost a lap and just decided to get completely off the racetrack for the safest possible job of that. But Matt Lacrosse is now gone to the number 1 position. Bobby Terrell sits 2nd, Glenn Campbell 3rd, but Stefan Marinac is still there. He sits in the number 4 spot in his number 24 machine.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's good news and bad news for the 21 car of Matt Lacrosse. The good news is that he's got the lead. He's in the lead. And the bad news is Stefan Marinac's in 4th.
John Higman Jr. coming over the radio, and they're going to call it quits for this evening behind the wall. So he's going to go in a distance of 3 laps, going to go for the number 1 spot out of this race. Would effectively drop back to about 17th, because 17th is the last car on the racetrack right now. 15 laps down, the 47 of Luis Rodriguez, and that leaves 12 cars on the lead lap right now. Stephen Herring, which is the amount of spots that Lacrosse needs on Marinac. And as Marinac sits in 4th and these guys continue to fall victim to the Monster Mile, things not looking good for the 21, despite the fact that he is running in the 1st spot. Marinak is doing what he needs to do, and that is just defend and stay out there on the racetrack and continue to be a pest of sorts and just keep nagging at that 21, reminding him that he's there, because it's got to be a bad position for Matt Lacrosse. You got to feel for him, you know, that he can come out here to lead the race, maybe win the thing, but still have no relative shot unless Stefan Marinak, well, I was going to say Stefan Marinak has problems, and he does at a 4:24 get sideways. This may open up the door. No, the 44 of Glenn Campbell yields to our championship leader out of respect out of that notion, and the fourth spot now going to belong to Campbell as Marinak assumes third as green flag pit stops start to cycle through.
And as you were mentioning that lead change, Bobby Terrell takes over the lead from Matt Lacrosse. Just a little quick pass and a little dab will do you. Now, new leader, Bobby Terrell, as Matt Lacrosse may, I thought he was going to try to go back and attack. You know, he's doing everything right. You know, first, second, third, I think he's fell back to fourth, maybe fifth at one point. He just can't shake Marinak. And of course, with 12 drivers now, just on the lead lap with Brian Harvey nearly one lap down, you know, it's becoming more and more desperation time for Matt Lacrosse to hope something happens to Marinak.
And he's starting to get rattled a little bit. Got real sideways the last time at a turn number 4. Now they're working through 3 and 4 right now. But Lacrosse has lost Terrell. I know you talked about the fact that maybe he try to come back after the 14, maybe try to cross him over, get the number 1 spot back. Unable to do so, and the gap has dropped to 0.7 of a second between first and second as Lacrosse lost a decent amount of time. A little bit of negotiations and discussions over the radio with the 11 of LD Serapia not happy with Jay Horton, as Jay Horton in the 83 makes the pass on the inside. A couple of choice words between the 11 and the 83 camp, but no further incident as Horton completes the pass to get position number 6.
Jay Horton giving LD Serapia a little bitty bump through the corner, and LD losing that number 6 spot as green flag pit stops continue to cycle. Currently the race leader still Bobby Terrell, Matt Lacrosse second, Stefan Marinak third.
And as Bobby Terrell stays out there and leads, we're going to step away to a commercial break. You're watching the ITSR Twisted B Car Series live on Thursday nights on MW Production. We're going to be coming back for the second half of this race from Dover after this. And welcome back to the Dover International Raceway. Bobby Terrell remains at a #1 spot up front in his number 14 machine. Championship hopeful Matt Lacrosse sits second, only 6/10 in front of championship leader Stefan Marinak, who sits in third. It is the ITSR Twisted B Car Series. Evan Pasoko, Michael Keaton in the broadcast booth here this evening. Michael Woolley in the production hauler here live as always on MW Productions. The halfway point is coming on just about 3 laps ago, so we are on the downhill side of things after a very quick race. A lot of green flag racing so far this evening, and a lot of these guys hope that that continues to spread on into the second half of this race. But in the middle of the green flag pit stop, Scott Simley coming down pit road. Bobby Terrell will assume race lead as Matt Lacrosse slows it down and enters pit road at a turn number 4. Marinak tried to slow down, didn't slow down in time. That's going to hurt the 24. That could be big.
Oh, wow. He actually overshot pit road, didn't he?
And that's not, he's not the first guy we've seen do that. We've seen about 3-4 guys do that. He's trying again this time in 3 and 4. He tried to be aggressive. He's going to take it real easy this time. He nearly spins. He's loose now. Really has to woe it up. He does so, but the 24 is going to lose a lot of time. Terrell pits in front of him. And this could be big when it all evens out as Stefan Marinak. However, there are a handful of guys 2 laps down from 11th on back. If there was a lot of guys on the lead lap, that could be a championship deciding moment. It still could be. We're going to have to wait till all of this cycles through before we get a definite answer on how much that extra lap at a slower speed is going to hurt the 24.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to watch. He's taking all sides, all 4 tires there.
Now the 24 exits pit road. Bobby Terrell, race leader, is going down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Both of them on lap 76 as the 24 merges, so he's going to lose just under half a lap to race leader. However, Matt Lacrosse that time by the stripe, so our scoring is all updating here. Matt Lacrosse now sits 5th as J. Randall Watkins is your race leader. Don't believe he has pitted yet, which would explain the gap. CJ LaFere sits 2nd, 9 seconds back from him. So Lacrosse in 5th. Marinak only 6 seconds behind him in 7th. So a good recovery for the 24 team considering how much that could have hurt him.
Yeah, he's actually quite lucky. 7th spot. He's the last one on the lead lap. He's 21 seconds back from J. Randall Watkins. And, you know, it's funny how some of these drivers pitted, like Horton, Simley, and Burnett, and they all went down 1 lap in their pit cycles. And none of them really had the bad entries to pit road or actually slowing down to go down pit road and then ejecting that decision and staying on the racetrack. They still are a lap down, and they didn't even do all the stuff that Marinak did. So his crew really got him in and out fast.
And again, a good recovery for them to be able to do so,
yeah.
The 24 team, because again, that could have been a pretty big thing. And again, it helps that there are several drivers laps down because of where they entered pit road and the way everything cycles through, the gap between them and the leader before this all started to cycle through, which attributes to that. But again, if this was, say, right after a restart maybe and 10 laps in, you pit, and typically you'd expect them, if they were that close to pit under the yellow, but if a situation like that were to come up per se, the possibility of that would be there, and that could really hurt the 24. But they've been a good job of surviving and maintaining, and again, still sits only 2 spots back from Matt Lacrosse, looking like the 24 at this point is going to be able to walk away with this thing without any major challenge.
Now 10 drivers back on the lead lap. Simley, Horton, and Burnett. Must have been Randall Watkins. Yeah, Randall Watkins coming down pit road. He's the one that put these guys a lap down. Now he's on pit road and he's just dropping like a fly all the way back to 10th. He'll go. And Evan, I trying to add the numbers up here. That may, I don't know if they may have to pit again. We were actually a little over halfway. No, some of them pitted right before we went to commercial, before the halfway mark. Some of them started pitting afterwards, as late as where J. Randall Watkins is pitting now, well over the halfway century mark. So we may have seen the last pit stops for some of the drivers, and for some, they may have to come back down pit road for one final splash and go, if it stays green.
And that could bring fuel strategy into play, which is always interesting to see. Some drivers prefer that because they got their guys up in the box, their spotters, whoever's helping about make the calls and strategize, and some drivers just like to race it out at the end with a guy on your door. But nonetheless, that could turn into another one of these situations here tonight, and it could come down to if the fact that we don't see a yellow when you would make that final pit stop, if you really try to stretch it, but that would be an extremely long distance. Not sure if it would be feasible for that matter. Or do you see what we typically see and what the trends seem to be, and that is a handful, maybe 2-3 late race cautions that make it a shootout to the finish?
Yeah, by no stretch of the imagination is this race in the bag for anyone. Even though C.J. LaVere has a good, comfortable lead, nearly 2.5 seconds up on. Here comes Bobby Terrell in second. Harvey running third. Matt Lacrosse, man, he's got his plate full tonight. He's fourth, and Glenn Campbell fifth. Marinac, your points leader, is in last. No, just kidding, folks. He's in sixth.
Again, that is only 2 spots between him and Lacrosse. We currently have 9 drivers that remain on the lead lap. Last car on the lead lap is Scott Sibley in the 68 machine. Cars 1 lap down include 10th and 11th positions, Stephen Herring and J. Randall Watkins respectively. LD Sarah B and Douglas Wyatt both 3 laps down, 12th and 13th. John Wilco is 5 laps down in the 62 after having those problems very early on in the going. In 14th, Luis Rodriguez in the 47 actually comes down pit road this time by in 15th spot, 15 laps down. John Higman Jr., Edison Lyman Jr., Frank Kuhn, 16th, 17th, and 18th, all out of this race and behind the wall as C.J. LaVere. And again, we talk about it whenever he gets up near the front of this pack, and once we got to about the 4th race in here, we were already asking ourselves, when is C.J. LaVere going to get the win here with a Twisted B car series? And it has eluded him for all 8 races that we have done so far. You look at his stats, no wins, only 2 top 5s and 4 top 10s. Not the way that C.J. has wanted to see this go. Right now he sits first, but here comes Bobby. Bobby Terrell makes the pass, and C.J. LaVere, entering the corner higher to give the room, actually nearly knocks the wall down, scrapes it into turn number 3, and now the 14 of Terrell, just as we said all that about LaVere, already has a second gap, or half a second gap, over LaVere, who now sits in the number 2 spot.
He has shrunk gap. He's shrunken fast. Remember, LaVere was up 2.5 seconds, and Bobby had shrunk the gap and was leading the race. Oh! 5 car spins off 2, hits the wall, keeps the car straight. We're still green flag racing.
That's not the first time we've seen it. They actually did a really good job of minimizing the damage that would have come from that, and he still does get the left side of the car, smacks it off the inside wall, but it could have been a lot worse for the number 5 Sunoco race fuel machine of hippie Douglas Wyatt. He gets now back out onto the racetrack and tries to get back up to speed, but he is going to lose at least and drop at least 4 laps off pace as he continues to drive around on the apron trying to find a gap in which he can use to safely merge. Now caution trouble on the racetrack, and we're going to slow him down for a yellow, trying to find the cause of that. Don't see any immediate trouble. Marinac in the 24 car may have gotten a piece of it. Looks like he has a little bit of damage on the side of his machine. Don't see him anywhere near when the caution car comes out, with the lights come on the pace car. But there is some smoke in turns 3 and 4. It is a 62 of John Wilco. Took a little bit of searching. Him and the 67 are the ones that get together. The 67 of Harvey catches the wall, and right as the 62, who has damage, has to take an awkward arc off the corner and meets up with the 67, who got loose and had to slow down there up front, and gets into the wall. They both make contact. 62 into the inside wall, 67 around. 67 back up in front of traffic. Oh, Marinac.
Yep.
Look at the bullet that 24 dodges, and I think he cleared him completely.
But he didn't clear that wall.
He was able to get around the 62, and then he does scrape the inside wall. But again, that could have been another narrow miss for the 24 car, which could save their day. The slower car enters pit road in front of a couple of our lead lap cars, which slows down Marinac on his pit road exit.
He looks like he's tracking a little bit. Marinac.
We will have to see. Sometimes it looks like the car gets pretty torn up and nothing happens. And then you have other situations where it looks like the car is fine and something's jacked up under the hood. Terrell leads him down pit road. He has the second to last pit stall. Right sides go on, and a very quick right side tire exchange for the 14 of Terrell. He had a very fast pit stop, and he has often set sail. The 21 of Lacrosse will exit in second. Glenn Campbell sneaks away with third, as CJ LeVere has to sit on pit road for some sort of delay. It may have been speeding. Happened to see he had to try to jump into line to get his spot on pit road. Not sure if it was speeding or not. Maybe he was trying to get some repairs. I heard over the radio that they may have accidentally shifted into reverse at one point and caught the wall. But nonetheless, LeVere is going to lose a couple of positions, as he had to sit down there in his stall for a little bit of repairs.
And I think Marinac's going to be okay, just taking a 360 look around the vehicle. I think the crew really got after it there. Little bent corner on the left rear, but I think they've got the front pretty much straightened out. So really lucky, Marinac, really lucky, because that could have been a lot worse. You know, Matt is out now. He's in second spot, and Marinac is in 7th. So, and there's, let's see, 9 on the lead lap. Whew. I'm sure Marinac's probably sweating a little bit right now.
And that's twice that he has narrowly avoided a spinning car in front of him at a racetrack. Much like Brad Keselowski in his championship run, when he was able to avoid a couple of incidents, including Talladega, sneaking through and able to sneak away with the championship. Marinac maybe with the same case here this evening. Once in 3 and 4, the second time just there down the front straightaway. He was maybe half a foot over to the right side. He could have lost the engine there.
I know it. And
he would drop back to 15th or so if that were to happen.
Yeah, exactly. If he'd have hit him, his car probably it'd be toast. I mean, obviously, for sure. So again, gosh, so real lucky right there, real fortunate. But you know, you got to give him credit, a little bit of credit for letting out the throttle and dodging that. You know, he wheeled it around and nearly kept it off the inside wall. Did a real good job of keeping it, for the most part, off the wall on the inside. He got a little bit of it. Kind of bent the car up in the right and in the left side up, but he's going to restart 7th, and I think the crew's fixed the damage for the most part. It looks fixed, but looks can be deceiving.
And we're going to have to find out how this shakes out as we go for a restart with 41 laps to go. '14 is off. Bobby Terrell sets sail. Green flag flies. He opens up a gap on Matt Lacrosse, who sits in the number 2 spot. A big scramble, 2-3 wide for second and third positions. Glenn Campbell wanted a piece of it, but it is Terrell off the corner, and a 44 trying to get second from Matt Lacrosse down the back.
Matt Lacrosse hanging on to second spot. 44 car, Glenn Campbell's third, looking for the number 2 spot. Not yet, says Lacrosse, as they go off into turn 2 there, coming out the corner, looking back a little bit further where you've got 68 Scott Simley running 5th. Horton is 6th, and here comes Stefan Marinac up underneath the Hurricane Chevy of Jay Horton. So Marinac's car is handy-dandy-findy. And now C.J. LeVere tries to find the 7th spot that Jay Horton currently occupies.
Marinac again continues to sit in 6th. Lacrosse continues to sit 2nd, but not much security for that spot because he has the 44 of Campbell, about a car length off him. But on the flip side, but a car length in front of him is race leader, the 14 of Bobby Terrell, who is known for coming into these races late in the going and stealing these wins. And now we have a caution.
LeVere.
C.J. LeVere in turn 1. 4 cars sideways in the middle of the racetrack. And it starts, wow, he was on black ice coming out of turn number 4. Tried to save it down the whole front straightaway and just could not hang on. Spins it, doesn't hit any walls, no harm. But the foul will be the caution. And we're going to slow down and group them back up once again. We're going to go away and take a commercial break. When we come back, we are inside of 35 to go. And we will be seeing, if not the last, one of the last restarts as we continue to battle. Flag.
In a world where survival is the only rule and feelings have no place, where winning is everything and weakness is fatal, how much difference can one person make? That depends on the person. In every life, there is a line that cannot be crossed without leaving everything behind, except faith. Once that step is taken, there is no looking back, and all that lies ahead is destiny. There is no looking back, and all that lies ahead is destiny.
Back live at the Dover International Speedway. Lights still up on top of the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car. We do exit turn number 4 this time by and expect those lights to go out at the flag stand and get the 1 to go to this restart, and we do. So we are going to go back green at lap 108 out of 140. That'll give us 33 laps to go to settle this thing. Here comes Bobby Terrell in the number 1 position. Glenn Campbell continues to sit in 2nd. Ben Burnett in 3rd. Scott Simley in 4th. Stephen Herring 5th. Championship hopeful Matt Lacrosse has slid back to 6th. And Stefan Marinak, the guy playing defense in his championship battle, only 1 spot behind him in 7th.
And
this
the
may
hopes
be
have diminished.
This may be the final restart.
Yep.
Who knows? These things tend to turn into a little bit of a crapshoot, don't you say? Especially at tracks 1 mile and under. Because there's a lot of hungry hounds wanting this win. Who survives? Who gets it? Here we go at a turn number 4 pace car. Getting ready to dive down to the safety of pit road. There it goes. Field in the hands of Bobby Terrell. Waiting on it now. He goes. The green flag flies, and we're racing at Dover. It's side by side for 2nd as Terrell takes the flag, this time by the stripe. Going into turn number 137, Ben Burnett keeps the nose in on the 44 of Glenn Campbell. Campbell on the outside, hanging pretty well for being on the high side. Trying to get her off too. Oh, big! Oh, he's into the wall. 68, Sibley. They're spinning in front of the field. Oh, 77 with a huge big wreck.
Gosh.
Baranak survives, and Lacrosse survives.
J. Randall Watkins killed somebody. That 77 car. He absolutely crushed Glenn Campbell's driver's side door. 77 car engine blown.
In the 2 championship hopefuls, once again, bob and weave their way through it and survive for another restart. But it all started coming off of turn number 2 there. The 68 machine, Scott Simley, as they run the 44. I said he's hanging pretty good there for being on the outside lane and ran out of track. Got into the outside wall. 68 came down, clipped him, went around into the inside wall, and that was it. That was pretty much it for Simley. You got the 44 spinning up in front. Look at the 21. Go to the bottom to get around him. 83 does as well. 44 sideways in front of the track. There you see Marinak get around him on the bottom. And then, bam, what a hit. The 77 of J. Randall Watkins nails the door.
Crushed the car. He's out. J. Randall Watkins has climbed out of the vehicle. He's done. Season 1 in the wraps for him. And I think it's virtually now impossible for Matt Lacrosse to tie or win this championship. This is Stefan Marinak's championship to be won.
Yeah, with J. Randall Watkins out, the lowest that that Marinak could finish if John Wilco leaves pit road soon would be 12th. He hasn't led a lap. So Lacrosse would need to win it, and the 24 would need to wreck now and be totally damaged and done.
Yeah,
if he
like
wants,
under pit, like now.
Yes, like
yeah.
Still under yellow, needs to wreck.
Oh,
And
the chances are still there, but they're slim, huh?
you thought they were slim entering tonight. And again, Matt Lacrosse has battled so hard. He has tried his best to stay in the number 1 position. For the battle, he has not led the most laps, so that's a bonus point lost, as Bobby Terrell has been very strong all night, as long as some other guys. Ben Burnett had a stance up there. We've seen CJ LaVere lead as well. But it is Lacrosse and 1 position behind him, Stefan Marinak in the 24. 21, 1 spot in front of him. That's only 1 point separation. You had a bonus point or 2. Maybe it's 10 or 11 points, but that attributes to the 1 position and 1 position only that separate them on the racetrack right now. The light still on the pace car. Expect them to go off this next time by, which would lead us to a lap 113 restart. Race officials talking and explaining with LD Sarabia, driver of the number 11 machine, on lap back procedures as he sits stranded 3 laps down on the racetrack right now. But all questions will be, once again, is this going to be the final restart? Thought that the last one had a possibility of doing so.
Yeah. Well, this is, you know, the finale race of Segment 1, Season 1. Matt Lacrosse may come up short, but, you know, he had a tough go at it, a couple races, finishing outside the top 5 where Stefan Marinak would finish in the top 5, and you know, it all goes back. I mean, they're pretty even neck and neck going back, looking through all the past races. Matt Lacrosse even has one more bonus point than Marinak. Currently coming into tonight's race, Lacrosse is going to make it fun and interesting to watch here to see how close he can come within Marinak. But we'll see as we go green with Bobby Terrell taking us to it. Oh, Ben Burnett and Bobby Terrell.
Well, Ben Burnett was sleeping or something. Bobby Terrell is our leader. Ben Burnett had a nose on him under the yellow, so on the scoring pile, and it showed the 37 in first, but the 14 was the control car. Able to get around him. Burnett hangs on to second. It is a side-by-side battle for third and for the championship, as the 24 is going to make the pass on the high side. And now Marinak in front of Matt Lacrosse. All hopes seem dashed at this point, as the 4 of CJ LeVere wants a spot from the 21 of Matt Lacrosse as well. Took a look to the inside, thought about it down the front straightaway, but didn't do anything with it. Now Lacrosse is looking up at the back bumper of that 24. Championship contender, or he's the contender for the most part. 24 playing defense here this evening, and 24 in the lead. That's Marinak. 21 trying to drive his heart out, but the 24, I believe, of Marinak is just too strong at this point.
Look at the lead here. Ben Burnett all over the back door of Bobby Terrell, coming off through the corner there. Now going off into 3 and 4. Look at Burnett right on the back rear, coming off the corner. Bobby Terrell leading the charge, leading Dover, with Ben Burnett looking underneath in 1.
Side by side for the lead. Ben Burnett has the preferred lane. He has inside position on the 14 of Bobby Terrell. 3 wide maybe. Look at the 24 at the bottom. He thought about it. He holds off for now. 37 holds both of them off. Look at the 14. Slides in between them. And Terrell to the bottom. Can't get to the 37, but made a daring move and slid between first and third on the front stretch. Now he's got to run as the 37 slides high off the corner. 14, Bobby Terrell to the inside for the number 1 spot. Can't hang on to the quarter panel. He's there trying to hang on. He gets loose at a 4. Does the 37 Burnett. No, it comes down. Contact. 14 hangs on, but Ben Burnett defends the number 1 spot for now as the 14 recovers of Terrell and tries to hang on. He battles with Marinak for second through 1 and 2.
My goodness, talk about putting your car in the right spot at the right time. Whew! These guys are going after it. Marinak looking for a win. You know, I mean, he just threw his car in there, and Bobby Terrell was throwing his in there. And look at Matt Lacrosse still hanging in to the rear. Man.
Burnett nearly got turned and nearly turned himself over the nose of the 14 of Bobby Terrell, who was right there. They made contact. 14 recovered, and the 24 nearly got around him on the outside, unable to do so. Matt Lacrosse still in this mix, but doesn't look like he has a car to challenge at this point. Just doesn't have anything left in the tank. for this segment 1 championship points-wise as the laps continue to wind down here at Dover International Speedway. Ben Burnett is up and he is leading the pack through 3, now coming off of turn number 4, 37 to the stripe, 20 laps to go in race number 9 on this 2014 campaign. Again, the inaugural ITSR nationwide style, the Twisted B Car Series, live as always on MW Productions Dover, playing host to the final race in this opening segment, the Got Crabs 140. We've talked about that enough, but Ben Burnett has a 3/10 of a second lead over the 14 of Terrell this time by.
And the gap between Terrell and Marinac is staying about the same, about a half a car length to a full car length back is Marinac in 3rd spot. Bobby doing a fine job of staying in that 2nd spot, keeping the gap between them. And then Matt Lacrosse is just kind of sitting there hoping that something will happen that don't involve him. But again, folks, going back, looking through the virtual reality of whether or not Lacrosse still has a shot at winning this championship has fully diminished at this point. It's all history now. But, you know, one thing that I like about the ITSR gang is that if anything was done foul play-wise during the race, can be stripped away from you at the end. So, of course, every race that you see here is unofficial until the ITSR admins deem it official.
It doesn't appear that we have seen any of that. Again, Matt Lacrosse is looking at the back bumper of the 24 in front of him, but the 21, Matt, a great competitor, a spirited competitor. Don't expect to see any sort of maneuvers like that out of the 21 camp here this evening as he continues right on and forth. But they're going to put on a show for us, even if the championship battle is not going to come down to as close as what we may have hoped. 3, with the car length separating each other, they've been nearly wrecking each other. Or I guess you could say they have wrecked a couple times. They just didn't hit anything the way they've been racing off the corners.
Man, they've tightened it up, haven't they? They've caught Ben Burnett. Looks like Marinac gets a better entry than Bobby Terrell. I've been looking at this chopper view here for a while. Looks like Bobby Terrell late to let off the throttle. And look at that.
And 24 really caught up to him on corner entry there. A little bit better off corner exit this time too for Marinac. Trying to find a way through and battle for the #1 spot as we approach 10 laps to go. Just need to not get too over your head on corner exit, or you're going to have to get way into the gas out of coming off of 2 or coming off of 4 when there's guys right behind you. We've seen how that happens. 24 is figuratively and literally knocking on the door, keeps giving Terrell a little bit of a bump on the back bumper, letting him know that he's there, that he may be faster than him, trying to find a way around that 14 Muscle Milk Chevrolet that sits 2nd. No advantage really to anybody. 24 clips the wall. The 37 of Ben Burnett up front is only half a car length in front of the 14 of Terrell as well. This is going to be a good race to the finish. Coming to 11 to go. 14 to the bottom. Terrell sticks the nose in there. Does the 37 give him the room? No. Shuts the door. Marinac desperately trying to find something. Looks to the high side. The most unprecedented way that we've seen. It's a 5-car battle now. Look at this. CJ LaVere in the mix. 14 to the bottom. Bobby Terrell to the inside for the #1 spot. Door to door and clear. Here comes Bobby Terrell once again in the late stages to the #1 spot, but it's not over yet. Here comes Matt Lacrosse from 4th. Now up to 2nd by the inside of the 37 of Ben Burnett. Burnett getting freight train on the top 4 of LaVere, has to check up, allows the 37 line. And now the top 4 go Terrell, Lacrosse, Marinac, and Burnett.
This is art. This racing that we're seeing here is art. It's not racing. It's art. It's Bob Ross. It's Picasso. It's Peter Max. It's Travolsky. You know, it's Michelangelo. It's art. and Michael Hooley just whispered me and said, "You said Peter Max." Hey, Peter Max is famous, very famous artist, an acrylic artist. Oh, look at man across looking for the lead. Oh man!
He figures if he can't get this championship, he wants to be able to put a different kind of trophy there, and that is another race win. Oh, look at this. Marinak to second, top
Picture
2
perfect.
in the championship, top 2 on the racetrack. Unfortunately, the win doesn't determine the winner, but hell, let's race it out. Anyways, Matt Lacrosse has it, Marinak wants it, Marinak has the championship, Lacrosse wants it, but all hopes of that have officially been dashed, as the furthest that 24 can go is 11th. At this point, if something were to happen as they come up on 6 to go, this time by the stripe. Lacrosse trying to hold on, but a hungry Marinak wants to walk away with 2 pieces of hardware here this evening.
Oh, he just drifted up big time there, washed up. Hey, if you're watching, if you're catching, or if you're keeping an eye out on the amount of wins, these guys up here, Stefan Marinak and Matt Lacrosse, one win apiece. Bobby Terrell already has 2, but he's back in 13th in points. But if you're looking at it stat-wise, you know, they could be racing for whoever gets to that second win, so to speak. 5 to go.
This time by it will be 4 to go. The next time around it was just 5 to go. Lacrosse doesn't appear to have any immediate challengers
Not yet.
yet for the number 1 spot. Battle is for second as the 14 of Terrell, who was in front of the 24, and the 24 was beating off the 14's back bumper trying to get away around. Now it's flip-flop. 14 is behind Marinak trying to find a way around him. Not quite on the back bumper yet as the 14 drifts high into 3. That's the 14 of Bobby Terrell. Matt Lacrosse this time by 3 more circuits from a checkered flag. A caution would end it all here.
Nearly 2.5 miles away now from crowning the champion and crowning possibly the Dover Mile Monster winner. And it appears that Matt Lacrosse has it in the bag. About 4 car lengths separates them as they get the 2 to go signal.
And Marinak only continues to get smaller in the rear view mirror. It's 3/10, nearly 4 that last time by the stripe as we go down to back straightaway for the second to last time. Carroll trying to find a little bit of extra something to get to Marinak, but Matt Lacrosse has the white in the air. Next flag ends it, and it will be a checker. 21 coming out of turn number 2. Matt Lacrosse down the back straightaway without problem, taking it easy. Has to survive, has lap traffic in front of him. It's the 62 riding around on the bottom of the racetrack. Going to come up off turn 4 and meet him. 6:21 goes high. Matt Lacrosse across the line. Checkered flag. And he's going to walk away with a win. The Got Crabs 140 belongs to Matt Lacrosse. Marinak comes home second and walks away with your 2014 Segment 1 championship.
So does that mean that Matt Lacrosse has crabs?
It's there's a question after the name of the race, not a period. Though he has not been officially...
True. He's not officially been awarded crabs.
Correct. That's going to do it for this race. We're going to step away, take a quick commercial break. When we come back, the post-race show, going to talk to our top 3, which include our points champion for this segment, Stefan Marinak. You're watching the ITSR Twisted B Car Series live on Thursday nights on MW Productions. Post-race show coming up next. And we are back live at the Dover International Speedway as this evening's Got Crabs 140 has come to a close, and we have sent Michael Keaton down there to pit road, and first he's caught up with our third place finisher, Bobby Terrell.
Absolutely. Bobby Terrell coming into tonight's race, 13th in the points. No points battle for him, but Bobby, man, talk about really the last 5 laps of this race. You made it interesting with the great talent that was around you here at Dover tonight.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I mean, I think Matt and them had pitted, and I really didn't want to get in Matt's way and Stefan. I think they were going for the championship, and I wanted to let them battle it out. But Matt was, he clearly had the better car there at the end, and I should have pitted. So, but I had fun, and I used up a little bit of my stuff trying to get around Ben too. So, but it was all good. I had fun, and it was good racing.
You know, I compared you guys to the likes of, I compared Matt Lacrosse to Peter Max, Stefan Marinac to Picasso, and I compared you to Bob Ross. Was that okay?
I guess. I don't know who Bob Ross is.
You don't know who Bob Ross is? Oh, gosh, Bobby.
No.
Oh. You need to Google Bob Ross and see if the analogy fits you. But congratulations, final race, the finals for the finale here at Dover on your 3rd spot finish tonight. Anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank Muscle Milk, you guys up there in the booth for such a good job y'all do, and Hippie's Paint Shop for painting me a new ride. It looks good. I tried to keep it intact, but I had a little bit of damage, but overall it was good. Thanks.
Absolutely. Of course, Bobby Terrell, here comes Bobby the Muscle Milk Chevy putting on a show for us tonight. And I tell you, Evan, that wall reached out and grabbed a lot of folks tonight, possibly not just Bobby. And I tell you, I just caught up with Matt Lacrosse, the 21 machine. Matt, underdog, I was pulling for you, man. But you came up with the win. You done what you needed to do to try to have a shot at winning this championship. Just that 24 car, stubborn as he could be, right?
Oh yeah, Stefan is. I was talking to him during the race, and I was telling him how I think he wears a horseshoe necklace in this B car, in this Nationwide car, man. And he's just lucky. He dodges everything, and he could barrel roll it down the front stretch and have like 30 seconds of damage. But not so much in the A car. He gets caught up in a lot of stuff over there, but he sure is lucky. And not to take anything away from Stefan, he's a hell of a competitor, and he's a great driver. He did what he had to do too. I did all I could do. I could win. I just hope that he had a bad night and got unlucky, but he's not a very unlucky person.
Yeah, I don't know if you've had a chance to go back and look at the reel where Stefan nearly T-bones a driver, but he avoided that somehow or another. But he did, and like you mentioned, the luck was on his side tonight. And you needed some big luck for yourself. You won the race. He had to finish somewhere between 12th, 13th, 14th, which could have happened if he'd have gotten wrecked right then and there. We could be looking at a really, really close battle here in points. But man, you did a great job tonight. Congratulations. You won the race. You end season segment 1 on a high note. Congratulations once again. Anyone you'd like to thank tonight?
I'd like to thank Quick Car Racing Products, Hippie's Paint Shop. Hippie Doug paints every car that you guys see. He does a great job. He painted probably over half the cars you saw tonight. Does an awesome job. I want to thank Axo Sanitary and Frank Coons and you guys up at MW Productions. You guys do a great job. Can't wait to see y'all next week.
Thank you very much. That was Matt Lacrosse, who wins tonight's race, ties Bobby Terrell with the most wins of the season with 2, and surpasses Stefan's Marinac's just 1 win. And of course, Evan Pasoko is standing by with your championship winner and 2nd place driver tonight, Stefan. Stefan Stubborn Marinac. There we go. Stefan Stubborn Marinac.
That stubborn 24 car, I'm sure he would have liked to told the guys, no, you don't need to wheel this little stage out here on the front stretch, because he wanted that win too and would have much rather been in victory lane, but comes home second. First and foremost, Stefan, walk us through those closing laps. I know you 3 up front had a couple close moments there down the stretch, and the that 21 was able to hold you off for that number 1 spot in the race.
Yeah, I should have been a little bit more stubborn, but I just wore the tires out. I was racing there with Bobby and Ben, and I tried to pass Bobby on the outside, and then Matt got by me, and that was pretty much it. And then I was trying to run him down in the last few laps, and I just used up all my tires.
And obviously coming home a second, qualified in 5th. Fastest in practice, though. It seemed like in the opening stages, whenever Lacrosse would drop a spot, you would drop one. If he gained 2, you would gain 2 at the same time. So you were very even. We saw you had a couple close calls, I think 2, once in 3 and 4, once down that front straightaway, maybe some other times during the race. Whenever you got by those things, what were you thinking to yourself, knowing that, I mean, you could have been that close to being out of this thing?
Yeah, I was really slow at the beginning of the race. Like, I wasn't competitive. I kept dropping back, and then I was running like 6th, and I saw smoke coming from the front straightaway, and my teammate Brian was just like slowly drifting across the track, and I turned left as hard as I could, and barely, I don't know how, but barely missed him, and then I had to overcorrect, and I barely tail whipped the inside wall, and I got away with like 20 seconds of damage, and I mean, that could have been it right there. I was inches away from heading straight into him.
Now we would like to welcome here to the stage Stephen Herring to present to you, Stefan, with this segment number 1 points championship.
Yeah, thank you, Evan. I really thought you were calling me up to talk about my 8th place finish tonight, but I guess we'll have to do
we
that
can
later.
talk about that too if you want.
No, let's first off, I'd like to thank all the drivers that participated in season 1. We've had some really, really good races. It's been an absolute blast. Kudos to you, Evan, and Michael Keaton for doing the play-by-play, the broadcast. You guys do a superb job. And of course, there's a guy, Maniac, that's sitting in the back room telling everybody where the camera's going to go. And Michael Woolley deserves a lot of credit. But let's get down to the matters at hand. And Stefan, I want to congratulate you from everybody at ITSR, the admins, the drivers, and everybody. Congratulations on your season 1 championship. Well deserved.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to thank Steve because we weren't really expecting much of this league, and for him to start this series up and to have it do as well as it's doing, I really want to thank him and for doing the write-ups every week, the funny drivers meetings. It's great.
Once again, congratulations, Stefan, on it. Talk to us about through these races. Obviously, you come home, you finish 2nd here this evening, and that's going to make it 8 top 5s in 9 races. How'd you get it done to be so consistent, besides the horseshoe necklace in the car?
I guess that's just what it is. I have a horseshoe necklace hanging from my rearview mirror in these B cars. We had a 36 race season last year in another league, and I beat out the guy who finished 3rd tonight, Bobby Terrell, by 1 point after 36 races. And then, yeah, I only had 1 bad race this year, and it's been luck, just staying out of trouble.
Well, you were able to get it done, and for the final time here, again, this opening segment going to come to a close at Dover after 9 races. You sneak away with it by somewhere in the range, maybe 10, 11 points, a little bit more of a gap than you were talking about compared to what you did last year. But sponsors and shout-outs, whoever you want to thank, the mic's all yours here.
Yeah, I want to thank everyone at ITSR, Hippie's Paint Shop, Quick Car, the Meatball Company, and Axo Sanitary, and you guys.
Definitely 10-4. Well, congratulations to you and the 24 crew, and we look forward to seeing what you can do coming up.
Thanks.
That's going to do it. Stefan Marinak taking home the points championship after 9 races. Before we go away, Michael Keaton, summarize this race, your thoughts, and obviously close us out for the final 9 races, what you thought about it.
Well, an excellent way to end the season tonight with the race that we had at the end. I mean, the last 6 laps of this race at Dover just shows the talent here that we have on Thursday nights. Some of the drivers, obviously, too, on coming from the Tuesday night series, the Cup series. It just shows these guys can race around each other. They're comfortable around each other. And I hope that's the kind of racing that we see for the next 9 races for the next season.
And definitely, and very exciting race up front, and fitting that the top 2 in the championship do finish first and second on the racetrack here this evening. Merrimack wins the battle, Merrimack wins the war, rather. See, I had this all planned out. La Crosse got the battle, Merrimack gets the war after those two again battle it out at the end, and the 24 gets what he wanted. That is the points championship. Matt La Crosse, when it's all said and done here at Dover, is able to sneak away with the win and get race win number 2. Only driver in the top 10 to walk away with 2 wins here in the opening 9 races, but that is going to do it for Michael Woolley down there in the production hauler. He jumped up here a couple of times and turned off his whisper and said a few words. For him down there in the production hauler pushing the buttons.
Hi.
And getting us on air. There he is. Sneaks up every once in a while. Michael Keaton also, thanks for joining me up at the broadcast booth and working with you here this evening. My name is Evan Pasoko. Thank you for tuning in for the ITSR Twisted Beat Car Series Thursday nights, as always, at MW Productions. 9 races down, and Stefan Merrimack able to walk away with the points after Dover.
Hi, I'm Todd Malmstrom, driver of the 75M Ford Mustang GT. This is what I do by night. And this is what I do by day. I sell new Fords, and I've got the best selection of used inventory that you could ask for. Come see me down here at Central Ford.
Are you tired of getting hassled at the dealerships? Looking for a salesman that knows what he's talking about? Are you looking to buy a new or used car? Then look no further! Sexton Ford Moline, Illinois has the biggest selection of new or pre-owned vehicles, and Todd Malmstrom is the salesman you want. Todd is an expert when it comes to cars, and if you don't believe me, then you should see him race on a Sunday night. With his top-notch professional customer service and expertise, he will make sure you go home in the right car for the right price. No hassle, no haggling. Todd will make sure that you're happy when you leave the lot with your new or pre-owned vehicle. Remember, Sexton Ford may be the talk of the town, but so is Todd Malmstrom. If you're in the market for a new ride, then buy one from a winner. Todd Malmstrom at Sexton Ford Moline.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.